When you think about what the best theme park in the UK is, there are two contenders that spring to mind. Thorpe Park in Surrey, which is home to the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster now, and of course the Alton Towers Resort over in Staffordshire, which is home to many different varying thrill level rides. But yeah, sure, we can talk about them both as separate entities, but if we're trying to find the best theme park in the UK, out of those two, which is better, Thorpe Park or the Alton Towers Resort and No Longer Spa? Still crying about that, can't lie. There are so many different things we can talk about within these two parks that we can compare and contrast and see which is better. And that is what I'm going to do today, because I've got a whole lineup of categories which you'd usually see at a good theme park, I guess. And we're going to see if Thorpe Park or Alton Towers does that category better. And yes, I know I did this in 2023, but 2024 has been a massive year for both these parks, so I think it's only right to do this again. Maybe it will become a yearly thing this past year in which is better. But either way, if you do enjoy this video and you want to see more comparisons and sort of which is better videos, then please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. The age-old debate then, Thorpe Park or Alton Towers. We need to get into this as soon as possible because this might last a very long time. But I did just want to say that these categories aren't the only thing I'm going to take into account for this, because I'm also taking into account my opinion, so sorry if you disagree. Can't do anything about that. And also your guys' opinions as well. We are all a part of this big debate. But without further ado, it is time to ignite the flame beneath the debate of Alton Towers or Thorpe Park. Which is better? Let's find out. Hotels then. Let's begin with probably the most boring category on here. Hotels, of course, play a big part in these different parks and how they operate, whether they're a 2-day park or, I don't know, whether you want to stay in a container. And sometimes these hotels offer themed rooms. Thorpe Park and Alton Towers are known for this, although Thorpe Park did a Hyperia room and Alton Towers haven't done a Nemesis Reborn one. Missed opportunity, Towers, what are you doing? But if we're comparing them unironically, Thorpe Park is a singular set of containers and Alton Towers has multiple sets of huge hotels that are built properly, except from these things, but I'm not counting them as a hotel. I think the clear winner here is Alton Towers, but Thorpe Park with those themed rooms, you know, up in the standard there. Tell you what, the next one's not even setting the standard. This year in general, I wanted to talk not about the additions that have come to the park, such as the brand new big roller coasters at both, but I wanted to use this specific portion to talk about the sort of operations and food that we've seen at the park and the sort of general cleanliness of the toilets. You get my point, I don't need to list them all out. And I thought I'd stick this in a singular category because for both parks, it's not been too great at all, and I don't want to make multiple categories just being completely negative, so we put it into one. Alton Towers, let's talk about that first. Cleanliness-wise, we've seen a lot of work on the Smiler and sort of jet washing and painting that up. We've also seen work to Oblivion and minor works to Galactica as well. You know, they're doing a very good job, especially at the same time refurbishing the whole of Forbidden Valley. Food at Alton Towers as well is getting slightly better, but also worse. A lot worse in the price range. And alongside those is the operations and ride availability. Yeah. That's bad. You can visit the park and the only thing that's open for the first hour is Rita. No one wants that. It isn't great. And there's also been a few budget cuts as well. So yeah, not overall a very good year for Alton Towers operations wise. It started off well, but yeah, it's kind of fallen off towards the end. Meanwhile, over at the Thorpe Park Resort, although it's not a resort anymore, never mind. The cleanliness, of course, they've been doing their Big Easy Boulevard renovation and all of the other Sparkle projects. Been really good to see. The food there is very similar to what it was last year. And the operations for Thorpe Park this year, again, not amazing. Obviously, I have to mention it, the fact Hyperia was shut the day after it opened for multiple weeks and then it rolled back a bit later on. That was one of the moments of all time, that. But these things always happen to new rides. But along with that, there's been a few ride closures over the year, just randomly. And a lot like Alton Towers, when you go for opening, not all the rides are open straight away. And that can be very frustrating. I'm going to give this one to Thorpe Park because of the reasons I've already listed off, and I'm not going to go through them again. Me being negative over. The events that go on at the parks. Now, I've kind of done this at a stupid time again because the main sort of event that goes on, Fright Nights and Scarefest at both, hasn't started yet, but we can take a look at the ones that have already happened and the ones that are forthcoming. Thorpe Park brought back Mardi Gras for another year, unlike Alton Towers, who decided to not do that this year. They also brought back Oktoberfest again, and of course Fright Nights coming up very, very soon. Stay tuned for my vlog from that next week, guys. And they are all pretty decent events, especially Fright Nights. Very good, normally. Alton Towers this year have done Alton After Dark, which was 3 days at the start of the season where they would open till late and we could get some night rides, although Nemesis closed the one night I was there, fuming. They had the 10-year anniversary of CBeebies Land, and of course they'd then done Oktoberfest. Scarefest is coming up again. Stay tuned for the vlog on that one. And we often forget that after that they have the fireworks and Christmas events. So I think, as good as Fright Nights may be, I'm going to have to give the point on this one to Alton Towers. Theming and atmosphere. Theming goes hand in hand with a theme park. So both these parks must have a degree in theming. Thorpe Park, of course, still has the area of the Swarm and Stealth and the Amity Speedway, the whole area of Amity in general. But I think we know where this is heading, because you go over to Hyperia, and as much as the main area itself looks very stylized and nice, there is absolutely no theming whatsoever, and the ride layout area is just mud. Sorry, there's a very overgrown lake there too. And that was their new addition for this year. So seeing what happened at Towers with Nemesis Reborn and how they made that look for the new year, and with Cursed at Alton Manor and all the other amazingly themed rides there, I'm going to have to give this one to Alton Towers. Talking of those two new rides for this year, we need to talk about the additions for this year. And you may think I'm just going to talk about, oh, Alton Towers built Nemesis Reborn, or I guess rebuilt the Reborn, and Thorpe Park built Hyperia, but there's more to it than that. Because also, Thorpe Park completely redid the 4D cinema and area of what was Angry Birds Land. So not only have they put a lot of work and money into Hyperia, but also that area. As much as I don't really like the Ready Player One film that's in there, you know, fair play. And it's a very close one, this, but I would have to say Thorpe Park just edges it slightly. Although if we were talking about additions every year, Alton Towers would definitely win. Water rides, we get to the rides and roller coaster section. I bet you've all been waiting for that, eh? And we're going to start with water rides, as I just said, and I don't need to keep repeating myself. Alton Towers has Battle Galleons and also Congo River Rapids, which has finally had its waterfalls turned on, although I can't remember if that happened this season or last. Either way, the waterfalls are very nice, but that's really it. And then Thorpe Park, of course, have Rumba Rapids, Depth Charge, if you count that. I got quite soaked on that, so I'm going to count it. The beach, even though that's, again, not really a ride. What am I doing? And, of course, the main one, Tidal Wave. That massive wave that comes over your head, 2.5 bathtubs worth. Yeah. Thorpe Park win that point because they take Alton Towers in water rides by a landslide or by a wave. Dark rides. Now, I don't even need to debate this one at all, because Thorpe Park don't really have any, other than Ghost Train, if you even count that as a ride. And Towers have so many. So Towers wins that one so easily. Just please bring back Hex when you can. Flat rides, flat rides, flat rides. Now, this is exactly like the Dark Rides one, but the other way round. Because Alton Towers have what? Marauders Mayhem, Heave Ho, The Blade, and I think that's about it for now. Anyway, Thorpe Park though literally have an area of flat rides which has more flat rides than the whole of Alton Towers, and even has a few more dotted around the park. So yeah, easily Thorpe Park is the winner here. Roller coasters, the whole package. I'm not just talking about, I don't know, riding a ride and going, that was a good layout, that piece of track felt smooth. I'm talking about the varying thrill levels, I'm talking about the different types of rides they have, and also just the coaster lineup in general. Now, Alton Towers do have more roller coasters in the park. Got the lower end of Octonauts and maybe Spinball Whizzer 13 and Wickerman, and it ranges all the way up to the likes of Nemesis Reborn and the Smiler. But they all have varying thrill levels and different height requirements and stuff, so more people can ride them, and it's sort of like starter roller coasters to family ones to thrill ones. So I quite like that about Alton Towers. The theming on all of them as well is amazing, other than I do really enjoy the Alton Towers roller coaster lineup. It's solid, good, and yeah. But then we talk about Thorpe Park's coaster lineup, and of course it's very thrill heavy. and flying fish. The height requirements are often in the 1.4 range, so again, quite thrilling level. And all the coasters there are decent. The only thing making it a lot more challenging trying to rank against Alton Towers is, of course, that big white and gold ride. Hyperia is one of the best coasters in Europe, probably in the top 20, easily. And as much as Nemesis Reborn isn't far behind, this definitely elevates Thorpe Park a lot. But without Hyperia, this is an easy win for Alton Towers. But with Hyperia, it's extremely close. So for that reason, I'm going to give both Thorpe Park and Alton Towers a point, because you can't lie, both their ride lineups are really good. And that means the debate so far has reached a draw of 5 points each. How have we made it to this point? But this is where you guys are the saviours, because I'm going to go through your opinions and sort of total up how many people are saying Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, and we're going to work out which one wins alongside my opinion. Alton Towers is more of a complete package. Even their hotel's elevator is themed with a soundtrack. An absolutely amazing place. Couldn't have said it better myself. I forgot about that elevator. Give it an extra point just for that. I'd say Thorpe Park, although sometimes Alton Towers can be the better place. For example, Oktoberfest. That is a very good point, because Oktoberfest at Thorpe felt like Christmas this year, so that was very confusing. Hyperia or Octonauts? That's the question. Honestly, when I said about Hyperia or Nemesis Reborn, which is better, I think that was the real question I was after. Thorpe Park is better because it's not in the middle of nowhere. That's also a very good point. The transportation links to the park, Thorpe Park is a lot more central than in the middle of the woods Alton Towers. I think that Thorpe Park is better because the ride selection is better and the food is not even a debate. There you go, another comment about the food. Food matters a lot at theme parks, you know. Alton Towers, obviously, the height limit just makes it more unique and wonderful. See, that's another thing. The fact they can't build super tall makes the rides way more unique. And I, at first, didn't really like that because I want them to build the biggest and the best thing ever, but I like that their rides are different because of that. Personally, Thorpe Park, since it's more thrilling and more compact, so you don't get hurt feet after walking around all day, and plus the rides are just overall better. I mean, obviously I don't agree with the rides part because I've said they're very equal, but yeah, Thorpe Park is a lot smaller than Alton Towers, and especially with the Sky Ride not being open again this year, which obviously is completely out their hands, it does take a lot of walking, so I do understand that point. Thorpe Park for the coasters and thrills overall, but Alton Towers for the theming and experience. I think that is probably the best way to put it. As much as we are sat here comparing them so much, they are two completely different theme parks with two completely different outlooks on what they want to do with their rides. One wants to make the themed experiences and unique ones, and the other wants to build tall and fast and make things very thrilling, which both of them have done very well. But this is content at the end of the day, and now we need to decide a winner. And how are we going to do that? Whatever my opinion on this debate is, I'm going to award them 2 points. I am the most unimportant opinion in this, but oh well. But the park I have visited the most out of the two this year, and the one that every time I've stepped foot in there, I've just had an enjoyable day, and all the theming and sort of the ambience makes that experience even better. It is extremely close, a lot closer than it has been in previous years, but I'm going to give this one to Alton Towers. But don't get me wrong, like I've said multiple times already, Thorpe Park I do love too. It's a very close debate now. 2 or 3 years ago, it was Alton Towers for definite, and now Thorpe Park has caught up, and they're both very, very equal. But for me, Alton Towers just about takes it. Be sure to leave your thoughts on this down below in the comments, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. Ta-ra!